too dark. Okay, I can talk about something that I did this semester. It was not necessarily an activity, but it's some kind of attitude that I usually try to pass into my students, which is studying by themselves when they have something that is important to them. Every semester, then when they show interest about something, I think every teacher does. We recommend some movie, documentary. Sometimes I recommend some app for them to practice by themselves. This semester, everybody was interested to a certain extent in Black Lives Matter. So what I did to them was to share with them a list of 8 anti-racism resources that you can find online. Uh, and then I proposed some kind of a discussion activity, something that they could, what was a list of content, and I asked them to pick and choose whatever they wanted to uh, to read or to watch on that list, and then bring to class whatever insights they have. Of course, it was proficient 1, so it was proficient 1 and advanced 2. The proficient 1, they were okay with that. They just watched the movie or documentary or read some articles from that list that I showed them, and they brought the discussion, talked about their own experiences, talked about society in general. Was really interesting, like discussion. Advanced 2, on the other hand, they were not really happy on being free to talk whatever they wanted. So I gave them the resources, and then I proposed one part of the class in which I gave them some questions to give them direction. So I showed them a couple of pictures. One about the girl with the card. You shared on the group once the picture of a small black girl holding a paper with Black Lives Matter. So I showed them that picture and the symbol of the All Lives Matter movement. And I showed them to compare what did they know about these two groups, uh, which one they agree with, if they think this kind of movement should be illegal or not. Which I think is some kind of grounds for good discussion. And they write the resources. Some of them write the resources, then they discuss the questions, and they come up with their own ideas, especially their own narratives. Some students that were black and had children, and they worried about how their children would uh, be around in a world like that. In a certain sense, also kind of happy that we're having these discussions, but kind of not sad and afraid that we still have to have these kinds of discussions. So I think it helped them a lot. And I think this kind of initiative that I usually get is like gives them some kind of agency and empower them to like think critically, or at least have the idea that they are thinking by themselves with the resources we are giving to them. Not that oh, that's how you think, that's how no, that's not. So my point is actually always to give them some kind of do some kind of work of curation, so then they can start researching by themselves and have their own space to talk about the things that are interesting to them. Another thing that I did that semester was to leave the oral presentations to be theme free. So they brought whatever they want to talk about. Some of them talked about fake news. Some of them talked about racism. Some of them talked about even science, the way we talk about science nowadays, with the idea of flat earthers, yeah, and all this discussion we're having nowadays with science and how people are denying science. So it brought up all kinds of critical discussions that I think were interesting just for the time that I so, oh yeah, you're free to talk about whatever you want. So it engaged everyone way more, I think, than what I used to do before, which is picking topics that we talked about this semester and giving them a list and letting them choose it from that list. I think that this semester, letting them more free to talk about whatever they wanted or to choose the topic however they wanted, let them also more engaged with the conversations that came after the talks. Because I like to give this, they talk, the person has to talk, does their talking, and then we have open discussions and Q&A about the topic that was talked about. So to summarize, I think the idea this semester for me that I realized that I have to do more for the following semester is to let them more, give them more agency, but in a way that lets them free to choose what they talk about. Because even though they're not the topics that we talked about during the units, is something that enriches their life and is better for them, for better for everyone, I think. And I think that's it. That was the insight I had this semester.
Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. Now let's